Biden took Chinese money confirmed. How do you feel? If this is coming out of a House Republican committee, oh, and it is. Oh, thank God. I'm always worried sometimes that like it's gonna come out that that Biden actually did fuck around or like some bad shit comes out. If he's saying it though, like now I can be so confident that this never happened. Thank God. I can be so confident that this never happened. Oh, November. Oh, this is the stupid thing that we saw before. Oh, I'm so glad you bring this up. Remember, okay? Remember, okay? Don't treat conservatives seriously. They don't deserve it, okay? Remember this, okay? This here, Russia money to Tenet Media, to Tim Pool, where the money was sent from a Russian company to Tenet Media to pay Tim Pool, okay? Remember, this here, how could he have known? This here is impossible. There's no, come on. We wouldn't hold this guy accountable. How could he possibly have known? But this is actually completely legitimate.
Told the American people that his son didn't make any money in China?
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China?
Well, not only did he lie about his son Hunter making money in China, but it also turns out that $40,000 in laundered China money landed in Joe Biden's bank account in the form of a personal check.
$40,000? First of all, I'd say it's kind of a small amount of money for the president, but okay, talk to me. That's pretty bad. So did it go through a shell company and then get paid to Biden? Did a Chinese official pay him directly or?
And the Oversight Committee has it. Here's how Joe Biden benefited from his family's shady deal with CEFC, a Chinese Communist Party linked company. It all began.
Ooh, Chinese Communist Party linked company. It sounds a little dumber, but still possible. Okay.
And with a shakedown in the summer of 2017, when Hunter Biden sent a message to his CEFC associate demanding a $10 million capital payment. As Hunter Biden extorted this associate, Hunter claimed he was sitting with his father and that the Biden network would turn on his associate if he didn't pony up the money.
Okay.
The extortion scheme worked. Days later, $5 million flowed in from a Chinese affiliate of CEFC.
Are we just going to blow past that? What was the extortion scheme? Okay.
Over the following 3 weeks, Biden family members made a series of complicated financial transactions to hide the source of the China money.
Okay.
Here's how that happened.
But you've uncovered it. Okay. Well, are we like going through like Bitcoin, like Tumblr sites or what? Okay. Let's see what's going on.
First, Northern International Capital, a Chinese company associated with CEFC, wired $5 million to Hudson West 3, a joint venture established by Hunter Biden and a CEFC associate. Then Hudson West 3 sent $400,000 to an entity owned and controlled by Hunter Biden.
Okay.
Next, Hunter Biden wired $150,000 to Lion Hall Group, a company owned by James and Sarah Biden. Sarah Biden then withdrew $50,000 in cash from Lion Hall Group.
All right.
Later the same day, she deposited it into her and James Biden's personal checking account.
All right.
A few days later, Sarah Biden cut a check to Joe Biden for $40,000.
Remember, this impossible. This is an imperceptible amount of money transfer. The fact that 90% of what was being paid out from this company to Tenet was being paid to talent, 50% of the total amount, okay? It was impossible for him to know about this. This is an impossible link. How could any person know about this? But this, you're going to tell me the Bidens didn't know what was going on here when $5 million went from this company to a joint venture between Hunter and his partner, and then a $400,000 made from that joint venture to a company that Hunter owned, and then a $150,000 disbursement was made to another company owned by two other family members, and then a $50,000 withdrawal was made by those two family members, and then it went into a personal bank account, and then they wrote a $40,000 check to Joe Biden. You're going to tell me that that's not incredibly obvious? What do you mean? Obviously, there was a $5 million shakedown here, which he initially said was $10 million. Of course, there was a $5 million shakedown here in order to get $40,000 to Joe Biden. Wow, that's a lot of pay for bad transactions, I guess.
The memo line of the check said loan repayment.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, and I'm sure that if we were to go through the financial records, because Comer is a man of honor and great dignity, I'm sure that if we were to go through the financial records of these companies, there aren't dozens or hundreds of transactions between this firm and this firm, or this firm and this firm, or this firm and their firm, or these people's bank accounts, or I'm sure that there aren't like hundreds or thousands of transactions along the way here. I'm sure that it was just literally one transaction to this company, one transaction to this one transaction to this one to this one, and then they pay Joe Biden with the dirty Chinese money, right?
For $40,000. The memo line of the check said loan repayment. Like the payment to Joe from AmeriCorps funds, it's certainly plausible that this payment where James and Sarah used funds from China was indeed a loan payment to Joe. But even if this...
Okay. Also, it's possible that literally all of this is on the up and up, but
$40,000 check was a loan repayment from James Biden. It still shows how Joe benefited from his family cashing in on his name, with money from China, no less. Without his family peddling his name and his son threatening a CEFC associate with consequences that he said Joe Biden knew about, James wouldn't have had the money to write the $40,000 check to
do we even know that? How much money is in these accounts at any point in time?
his brother Joe. It's also worth remembering that Biden family efforts to secure millions from this Chinese company began when Joe Biden was still vice president.
Good morning. I'm here today to answer at a public hearing any legitimate questions Chairman Comer and the House Oversight Committee may have for me. I'm here today to make sure that the House Committee's illegitimate investigations of my family do not proceed on distortions, manipulated evidence, and lies. And I'm here today to acknowledge that I've made mistakes in my life and wasted opportunities and privileges I was afforded. For that, I'm responsible. For that, I'm accountable. And for that, I'm making amends. But I'm also here today to correct how the MAGA right has portrayed me for their political purposes. I am first and foremost a son, a father, a brother, and a husband from a loving and supportive family. I'm proud to have earned...
So Comer, I guess the Republicans wanted Hunter to show up for a closed-door committee hearing, and instead he goes to Capitol Hill with the press, and he's like, let's do an open-door hearing. And they refused to hear him. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to have a public hearing. And the reason why they didn't want to have a public hearing is because they're Finkelsteins. And they are, and you can see, I skimmed. I'll be honest, I skimmed. Maybe at some point we'll get to it. Probably not, though. I would never imagine burdening myself, wasting my life reading anything written by House Republicans. Christ, what a torturous experience that would be. But the reason why they like to do things in closed-door hearings is so that they can have... so they can pick and choose what things they want to publish. They can pick and choose which things they want to show to make people look a particular way, right? Oddly enough, funnily enough, the same thing that they accused the Democrats of doing with the J6 committee. Now that I've been fucking digging into this for 12 trillion fucking hours, and by that I mean 6 hours on stream because we waste all of our time, what the fuck were they ever talking about? Because for every single piece of testimony we're getting here, I can look at the full deposition that was posted on the file archive. What exactly were they saying was hidden from the J6 committee, or that the J6 committee didn't post? What is the conservative claim there?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
Whoa! Oh.
I'd like to reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman.
Burst their bubble. Wow, that's too bad.
I think it's clear and obvious for everyone watching this hearing today that Hunter Biden is terrified of strong conservative Republican women because he can't even face my words as I was about to speak to him. What a coward.
I hate these people. It wasn't always this bad, right? It couldn't have been. It wasn't this bad under Bush, right? Did it start under Obama? McConnell was pretty bad under Obama. But it wasn't this, was it? Well, fuck, I don't know. The Tea Party was really the coalescing of this dumb thought. Maybe, dude. I was a huge Tea Party guy. My God. Do you remember when Glenn Beck did the Oh God, what was that Glenn Beck march thing called? He really wanted to be the Tea Party leader. I don't know what happened to him. Was it like a March for America? No, fuck. What was it called? Or like Freedom? It's probably some stupid fucking. It had Freedom or Truth or March or America or.
Hello, America. We are from Washington, D.C., where...
For months, Glenn Beck has urged the millions of people in his audience to rally this weekend on...
What's the Tea Party? Let's see. Let me dig back into my brain. Hey, them too, buddy. Here's to that cheers. Good job. You spelled two wrong, dipshit. Foreign currency. ESL doesn't count. The Tea Party started as a like quasi-libertarian movement because Glenn Beck called himself a libertarian back then. And I think they wanted to kind of branch off from the Republican Party or force the Republican Party to adhere to more libertarian things. But I don't know what like the inciting moment was or why they started to branch off. Like, I don't think Rush Limbaugh was ever a big Tea Party supporter. Was he? I feel like when I was listening to online, or when I was listening to, not online, it would have been radio talk show hosts, I feel like Glenn Beck was the huge conservative figure that pushed the Tea Party really hard. I don't feel like I ever heard Rush Limbaugh speak like super favorably or speak a lot about it. This movement formed in opposition to the policy of Democratic President Barack Obama. By then, I might not just listen to as much talk radio, though, so maybe it was the Restoring Honor Rally. That's what it was called. Does seeing Republican politician conduct motivate you more for this canvassing operation stuff? I mean, I will do the canvassing thing. I really don't know. I've said this before a few times, and it really is mind-fucking me that like the bigger investment and the bigger motivation that I thought would help me be more constructive and positive in terms of arguments that I would build for America, because I feel like I'm too destructive or too deconstructive or negative, I guess, in debates, actually just made me really hate all the people involved. Whereas before, I think it was easier for me to see people as misguided humans. Now I'm just like filled with hatred for people that I feel as like traitors to the country. Although really, the hatred should just be reserved for content creators. The individuals, like the fans of these channels, are still just misguided. But Jesus, it's hard to, like, at some point, like the average German citizen that was, telling on his Jewish neighbor, like these guys were just misguided as well. But I mean, like, at what point do you not? Ugh. I just clipped this for the next Peer show. You're comparing Trump supporters to Nazis. I'm so glad I was able to bring that Nazi endorsement thing back to the music thing. I shouldn't have taken I don't like shows where I can't live fact check. I should have looked at I haven't even looked this up yet, but in retrospect now, I'm wondering when he kept saying over and over again that Kamala was like accepting his endorsement as like a glow. I'm curious now, what did she actually say? Like, did Kamala give a full-throated, actually, we've always loved Dick Cheney and he's a cool dude and he's so great? Or was it just like, I'm proud that some Republicans are standing up against Trump, and yeah. Kamala Harris accepts Cheney endorsement. It takes a lot of time and effort to learn all the facts and shit. I get that, but it's not like these Trumples don't have the time or don't want to make the effort. They spend so much time deep diving into random conspiracy shit and watching all these losers for hundreds of hours. I've got no sympathy, to be honest. Fuck them all. No, you should have sympathy for them. The issue is that they are inundated with all of this bad media. And once you start to go down that road, it's very, very, very hard not to continue to go down that road. Once you get like one bad fact, it's very easy to accept the second one. And then by the third and fourth, you're like so far down a certain road. And especially when, keep in mind that there's another thing to keep in mind too. They're not watching content creators that are just giving them information for them to draw conclusions from. They're watching people that are engaged in intentional, deceptive misinformation or disinformation campaigns, right? The mainstream and the alternative conservative media right now, okay, and this is not a conspiracy, it's just proven, they are intentionally trying to deceive their audiences. That is an intentional thing. We know this, at the very least, from the Dominion lawsuit for Fox News. We know that they are knowingly and intentionally lying and deceiving people. We know this from watching the hearings with Trump's attorneys and the attorneys working for the attorneys, that they are knowingly lying and deceiving the audience. So like the idea that like, I can't believe they believe this shit. Well, I mean, I guess I kind of do believe. I understand why they believe it, because you literally have a whole media apparatus that's built to lie about it and to tell people lies about it. I was actually curious why Destiny didn't bring up Trump's David Duke endorsement fiasco. Honestly, I thought about it, but then I also remembered, and I didn't want to go down the whole rabbit hole on this because I just don't remember it all. Because I also remembered for David Duke, didn't they have the wasn't there like a picture of David Duke and the Clintons at like their wedding or some bullshit? If somebody, like if one of the conservatives would have brought that up, I don't know, I wouldn't even know what the fuck to say. It's fucking retarded. I really truly do think that it's one of the few lessons I got from Ron Paul that I remember, because I think it was either David Duke or the KKK or somebody endorsed Ron Paul in like 2008. And I remember because I was a big Ron Paul fan. So every time the media was mean to Ron Paul, I was like, the media, they're out to get him. They don't like my boy because he's a goddamn libertarian. He's a baby deliverer. How can you hate this man? Okay, he's trying to put us back on the gold standard. He loves America. And but his response I thought was fine. Ron Paul's response was, hey, listen, I'll take any endorsement I get. Doesn't mean I accept their views. Doesn't mean I think their views are good. But I'm not going to go around disavowing endorsements. That's stupid. If somebody wants to endorse me, I gladly accept it. I think people should vote for me. If somebody endorses me, then that helps me get elected. And I think that my policies are good for America. So that's what I want. Yeah. If you're a horrible person and you endorse me, fine. I'm not going to reject your endorsement, but I'm not going to agree with the things that you stand for, you know? Yeah. Why are a lot of far-right people endorsing Kamala? People like Richard Spencer, Richard Hanina. I thought the Richard Hanina guy, or Hanina, I can't pronounce his name. Didn't he say he was voting conservative? Richard Spencer is a wild ball. I can't tell if he's actually like moved over to some liberal position. He seems to have been pretty consistent on it for the last couple of years. I don't know. Some people on the far right are doing it because Trump's not like racial enough for them. Because like I said before, Trump's probably not actually racist. He's probably like, at worst, Trump's probably like old timer racist. I don't think he's actually racist. I don't think you can work in that much, live in New York for that long and be like an actual racist piece of shit. I think that's pretty hard. Especially as a wealthy dude. But I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, I don't think Trump is like as like Nazi enough for a lot of these super far right people. So people feel a little bit ass pained. And Spencer is still pretty anti-Semitic. Listen, if you want to be anti-Semitic, go for it. Just don't have all the weird conspiracies. Okay. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little anti-Semitic after being in Israel for 2 weeks, okay? Do you know how hard it is to schedule any interviews or do anything fucking Friday and Saturday? Holy shit, it's actually so fucking annoying. For a country that was supposedly founded by secular Jews, these fucking retards are obsessed with their Friday and Saturday Sabbath bullshit. Oh my God, it's actually so cringe. Like hardcore obsessed with it. So if you want to be anti-Semitic, you can be anti-Semitic. You just don't have to have the... Just don't have the weird conspiracies about them controlling the world, okay? You can just hate Jews all on their own, okay? It's fine. You don't need no cultural Bolshevism, no Jewish master race controlling everything, no. Did you see that Milo put out a serious challenge to Fuentes so you can have a baby first? I saw that, but I don't believe the challenge was serious because Milo was offering to bet $250,000, and there's no way that guy has more than $500 to his name right now. I don't believe it. Actually, I need to stop saying that now because now I actually don't know. I don't know how many people... My mind is so blown right now. I guess I just didn't consider the fact that other countries would actually pay that much money. I'm probably even said this before. Dave Rubin is probably not doing too hot, but I guess he's doing amazingly. He just made $5 million last year. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many of these guys get paid by how many different sources. It's fucking crazy. Who the fuck knows? Have you thought of trying to speak directly to peers? I notice the other creators sneak in peers you have to understand, or do you prefer to debate the other pundits? I usually just try to pick out the easy. You're going for clips. The Piers show that's a clip farmer show. That's me realizing how much IDF money he left on the table. True, actually. I am a little insulted that they didn't even reach out. Like I feel like I would be a prime target for Israeli propaganda. I was in the country, so you could have met with me personally, so there'd be no record of the conversation. I'm business savvy. I know how to use encrypted apps. I could hide that shit so easy. 1,000,000,000%. You'd never catch me doing shit like that. And I make enough money at home doing my like authentic shit. That money could be going to an offshore. Like you could be depositing this in a Swiss bank account for me, and I'd be happy as long as it's sitting there growing somewhere. Like I'm such a great, and I already like largely aligned with a lot of Israeli messaging. I've got more credibility than basically anybody else in this fucking industry. I'm such a good candidate for propaganda. Why didn't anybody reach out to me? Hello, this coincides with what I said before. Jews suck at propaganda. Okay, if the Mossad didn't reach out to me. I'm the canary in the coal mine. If I ever start saying one day, I'm like, you know what? Actually, the Jews are better at propaganda than I gave them credit for. Then you'll know that's your canary. They've reached out to me to offer me something. But until they haven't even tried. Fuck you guys. Do you believe Chris Ray Gun's claims here?
Now, this is the story all about how several years back I got an email from some shady people with a lot of power who said you can make a ton of money towing the conservative party line and we'll make sure that happens for you. And I said, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be beholden to any fucking buddy but me. And I refused that offer, and the years went by, and it's become very fucking clear who the people were who just did not refuse that money. And it's fucking actually wildly obvious, and it's kind of sad.
Okay, base.
On the mall in Washington. Not for any political reason, Beck always says this is about honor.
We must restore honor.
Honor, of course, is not a partisan
honor.
concept, but the headline speaker at this nonpartisan rally will be Sarah Palin.
Hi, folks.
And if the gathering isn't political, no one told the Tea Party.
We are going to make a huge statement this year to the government.
A Tea Party that has organized busloads of supporters hoping for a show of strength.
We are here to take back our...
Is it possible the goal of the Russians was to get caught funding pundits? Everyone paranoid of the media being paid off serves their interests of division. I mean, like I said, I think it all serves their interests at the end of the day because we're not very united. They could do almost anything and it would fuck with us at this point.
Country, we are going to flip the House and the Senate in the fall.
Still, nothing about this rally would have raised much concern until critics pointed to the calendar. Saturday is the 47th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech.
This is where I will appropriately be standing down.
Beck called the timing an accident, but drove his critics crazy with this.
We reclaim the civil rights movement.
He would be the last guy to be able to claim it.
Critics like the Reverend Al Sharpton say that Beck, who has described the president as
a racist
and who has railed against government programs for the poor, has no business invoking Dr. King.
We wanted to bring the poor of America to Washington for the federal government to deal with that. Well, that's what Glenn Beck calls communism and socialism.
However Glenn Beck handles the politics of this rally, political experts on all sides will be studying the size of the crowd he draws. The large or small, the turnout here tomorrow will be viewed as a test of the Tea Party's muscle. Erica?
Wyatt, thanks.
You ever done an APAC deep dive? It comes up so much, it may be worth it. Yeah, I might. I can add it to the list of things, but we already got so many things we need to go over after this J6 shit. I'm so burnt out after the Epstein stuff, though. That all that conspiracy was so disappointing to me that now I just don't give a. Now I don't know if there are any interesting conspiracies. The JFK one actually seems a little bit boring too, but maybe a little bit more interesting. I don't know. We'll find a good one to look up. All right. Yeah, the Ray Epps stuff was so dumb. My God. What do you think Trump's strategy is going into this debate? I have no idea. But it's a very scary position to be in now. I see how scary it is for the Democrats. Harris has all the momentum behind her, or at least she did. I think it's probably chilled out a little bit now. But Trump, I don't think has had a good showing for almost anything for a while. So he's got an opportunity to make a big showing as long as he doesn't completely fuck it up. And now Harris has a lot of big expectations because she's supposed to be the one taking over Biden's position, so she needs to have a really good showing. So the bar is already set, so that as long as Trump just does okay, I think he comes out a winner. And if Harris fucks up anything, then Harris is in big trouble. So I think that what Harris needs to do is Harris needs to take on as many black. If I was her coach, like that one Twitter post, this is what I would tell Harris: you need to act as black as possible in the most stereotypical manner possible on that stage, in the hopes that if you can just bait one N-word out of Trump, it's over. Get him to call you the N-word on stage and you've got it, okay? Whatever you have to do to pull it out of him, that should be the strategy.